Welcome back to the Garage to Our Life show. It's Monday, December 19th, 2022. Still organizing books and what is rapidly becoming a new library wing here in the Garage to Our Life mansion. So, we're bringing books from upstairs and from various locations that are comic book related, and we're going to be putting them here. Let's start putting DC, these type of DC books here. These DC Archive editions, Golden Age Starman from Adventure Comics. These are pretty expensive books unless you get them at a discount, which is easy to do. Hell, this book is a $60 book when it was new. This one is called Action Heroes, and it's a collection of Captain Atom. So it's Captain Atom Archives Volume 1. Maybe I should put this in alphabetical order. Black Canary, well, yeah. Here's Flash Volume 5. Silver Age Flash. Here's Flash Volume 4. Once again, Silver Age Flash. I don't think I have, those may be the only ones I have. So, we'll put Starman over here, Flash here. Okay, the Shazam Archives Volume 4. This, they can't call him Captain Marvel because of various problems. You know, there was a, Captain Marvel was really becoming more popular than Superman in terms of comic sales in the 40s, so DC, which was called National at the time, sued Fawcett and said Captain Marvel is a ripoff of Superman, and I think in 1953 they prevailed in court, and so Captain Marvel stopped being published. And then the name just kind of was not really, it was something other people could take. And then this one company in the mid-60s put out a Captain Marvel comic, unrelated, or about a guy that could make his body parts detach and, you know, come back. And he was called Captain Marvel. That only lasted 2, maybe 3 issues, and then Stan Lee at Marvel said, let's do our own Captain Marvel. So we have Marvel Comics, we should have Captain Marvel. And they made him an alien, a totally different character than the original Captain Marvel. And then DC had the rights to do Captain Marvel, but then Marvel already took the name Captain Marvel. So when they brought this character back in the early 70s, that they had sued out of existence, they brought him back with the original artist, who was still pretty pissed off and salty about it. And so that comic was called Shazam. Then there was a Saturday morning Filmation live action show, and they started making toys of Shazam, but Marvel was still putting out this Captain Marvel, a totally different character. And so the Shazam comic said Shazam with one word, Shazam, the original Captain Marvel. Then they dropped the original Captain Marvel. Now in comics they just call this guy Shazam, which is stupid. Anyway, that's one of those stupid court things. So, well, I refuse to file this under S, so I'll file it under C. Right after Captain Action will be Captain Marvel. What do we have here? Justice League of America Volume 2. This is Silver Age, early Silver Age. So J comes after F. I learned that from Sesame Street. Supergirl Archives Volume 2. So amazing. I love this stuff. Supergirl would be after Starman. Oh, I have another Supergirl Archives Volume 2. Put that over here. Supergirl Archives Volume 1. Captain Strangelove is selling this comic if you're interested for a pretty good price. I mean, if you've got money, it's a pretty good price. Supergirl Volume 1. Superman Archives Volume 3. Golden Age. Superman goes after Supergirl. Superman Volume 1. Okay. Now, let me pick. Oh, wait. Do I have more here? Where are the rest? Oh, here. The Mad World of William M. Gaines. It's a biography of Gaines. Really good. I'll put this with the Mad books right here, which I put on the shelf yesterday. Christmas morning, 1974. I was so happy to get this from my parents, or from Santa Claus, I should say. I thought this was lost in the move. It was found. It was lost, but now it's found. Yes. Anyway, it has reprints of the original first story of each hero, and then a more modern appearance of them. So this is how I became acquainted with the first stories of these characters. And I'll put that up here in a place of honor on the top shelf. Those are from Fireside Books, and then the sequel was called Son of Origins of Marvel Comics. And that came out, I think, the next year, or maybe within a few months. It's good stuff. The third one in that series was called Bring On the Bad Guys. There was one called The Superhero Women. I thought I owned it. I don't think I ever did get it. But the book, right after the camera shut off yesterday, I discovered a book that, where is it? I thought I had lost. Where did I put that damn thing? Well, well, I'll show you that in a minute. This is something else I discovered yesterday right after the camera shut off. This is Gold Key from the 70s. It reprints Gold Key Star Trek comics, and this is this is a really cool thing. If you read that, it's the Psycho File of James T. Kirk. But anyway, more modern. There's a more modern edition that reprints the Star Trek Gold Key stuff in with slick paper and hardcover. And there's also a softcover edition. This is volume 5, so I've got a bunch of them. I don't know if I've got them all. Oh, they're not in order. This is volume 4. Okay, this is a good time to get them in order. Looks like they're all backwards. Volume 2. This must be the first one. Okay. So I've got them in various editions, and then I've got a lot of the original comic book editions, which idiots call floppies, the original real comics. Okay, what else we got here? Here's these are it's called Bizarro Comics, and it's new Bizarro stories by a bunch of different offbeat artists. Where would be a good place for this? Maybe down here. Oh, this is what I found yesterday that I thought it was lost. It's the Silver Surfer graphic novel, which is was newly done in 1978, Kirby and Stan Lee collaboration. So I'll put that up here. It's part of that Fireside series. Um, here's Tomart's Price Guide to Horror Movie Collectibles. So it's got all kinds of monster toys from the 60s and 70s. I'll put that over here. Ghastly Terror, the horrible story of the horror comics. So, by Stephen Sennett. Where would be a good place to put this? Maybe here. When I put this whole collection of Tijuana Bibles over here. Here's another book from the Fireside series, Marvel's Greatest Superhero Battles by Stan Lee. Oh, there he is. All right, so I kind of had forgotten I owned this book, but I'll put it here with my collection of Fireside books. Another part, I was talking to you yesterday about the nostalgia boom in the 70s for the 1930s. Here's part of it. This hardcover book from Grosset and Dunlap reprints Shadow pulp stories. The Shadow was a pulp, and then it was a radio show. The radio show wasn't exactly like the pulp. The radio show, I think, is more remembered today than the pulp, as far as the way we depict the Shadow as Lamont Cranston, and he has his girlfriend, and the Shadow in the pulps had more identities than just Lamont Cranston. Well, I think I'm going to put that here. Yeah, I'm going to start putting pulp stuff over here, like this Edgar Rice Burroughs book from yesterday, and this Tarzan and this John Carter book, because I'm going to need to put some more Marvel Masterworks books here. This is Charlton started putting out a Tarzan comic in the 60s without permission at all. They must have had a bad lawyer or that told them, oh, that's public domain or something, because I don't know, it should have been a tip-off that Gold Key was doing, or was Dell doing it at the time? Anyway, I think Gold Key was doing the Tarzan comic. This is about 1966. So they put it out for a while, and then they were forced to stop. And so this is a collection of those unauthorized Tarzan stories that are actually pretty well done, illustrated well, and are pretty accurate to the Burroughs original books. So let's see. Let's put Tarzan over here. Okay. What else? All right, let me grab some more books here and we'll take a look at those. So it's Monday afternoon and it's supposed to snow today. It still hasn't snowed. The weather forecast changes every time you look at the weather app. It's completely different. So apparently it's really hard to predict the weather in this part of the country. But we're supposed to get like blizzard conditions later this week around the end of the work week, where with 50-mile-an-hour winds and blizzards and all kinds of stuff. So looks like maybe it'll be a white Christmas, but maybe a violent white Christmas. This is the Sandman, the Golden Age Sandman, where yeah, this is not anything like the Sandman that who butchered that. Was it Netflix? I can't remember that made the we don't need to get into that. Okay, where was I putting DC stuff? Down here, I guess. All right, here's Life and Death of Fritz the Cat. I'll put that down here with the R. Crumb books that I think I showed you yesterday. I have a vague memory of that. Here's a collection of Goodman Beaver. Now, Goodman Beaver was Will Elder, Harvey Kurtzman. When this was put out, it was kind of controversial. This was done in the 60s, and there was one story. This is where Goodman Beaver meets Superman. Now, they reprint the panels page size, but Goodman Beaver would evolve into Little Annie Fanny. They just changed Goodman Beaver into a really super buxom woman, but it's still the same basic thing, kind of this naive person going meeting up with people. This has, oh wow. Yeah, this is number 734, a limited edition of 1,250 signed copies. So there's a Kurtzman and Elder autograph. But anyway, there is a story where he meets up with Archie and the gang. And as I recall, when they had... This is where he meets Tarzan. But when they reprinted it in this edition in the 80s, they had to alter the artwork to make him look less like Archie. There's a long story behind that. In the early Mad Comics, Harvey Kurtzman did a parody with Will Elder of Archie that depicted them as juvenile delinquents and doing horrible things. And the head of Archie Comics was very upset by it, and he was the guy that wrote basically the comics code, the little stamp on the top of comic books that were there from the 50s through, I guess, I don't know when they stopped putting that on comics, but he specifically wrote the code to target EC Comics, and that you can't have horror in your title, and you can't have... He wrote it so that it would basically keep EC from basically doing anything. There's Cleopatra. I could have sworn maybe they didn't even do the Archie. Let me look in the table of contents. That would be, or maybe they... Oh yeah, they talk about it here. That's a panel from the original EC Archie parody, which was called Starchy, and they had to alter it. Oh, okay. Well, see, they drew it originally to look just like Archie and the Gang, and then they redrew it. But is that even in here in this edition? I've got a paperback called The Executive Comic Book, and it reprints these Goodman Beaver stories from the 60s. And then Guandanaland reprints this stuff because I guess it fell into public domain. Okay, I guess there's no table of contents. Anyway, I'll look at this later and see if I can't find... I could have sworn... Looks like they didn't even put the Archie... I don't know. Anyway, so let's put this down here with the Mad stuff. That would make sense. Speaking of Archie, here's Archie's Madhouse. This is one of those books from Craig Yale. I think I'm going to put the Craig Yale books on this shelf. Put that there. Then these books are very beautiful books. At Duncanville Books, they had just about all of them on the shelf. I just couldn't afford them. And I mean, they're gorgeous books. This guy, Craig Yale, puts out great books. Here's a collection of Dick Briefer's Frankenstein. Here's Dick Briefer. And it's there's just beautifully done coffee table books. Put that there. Get some more books. Oh, wow. Another Craig Yo book, collection of Christmas stories. I'll do another Christmas episode before Christmas. Don't worry. I'm getting this stuff done first so I can start the new year kind of fresh. Giant, special giant Secret Origins. All right, that's wonderful. Let's put that down here with the DC. Here's Warlock by Jim Starlin. Warlock will be in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You can see him briefly in the new trailer that was released, I think, last week or the week before. Put that down here. Here's a collection of S.H.I.E.L.D. stories by Jim Steranko. Jim Steranko has become a hero on Twitter lately. At least to some people. Some people think he's become an asshole on Twitter lately. And some people think he was always an asshole. But to me, it's kind of redeemed him a lot. That he's, looks like I paid $5.99 for this. And I never took the price tag off. It's a Peanuts Treasury. And this is from Holt Rinehart and Winston. It's one of those 1970s coffee table books that goes right up here with the other ones. Fits perfectly. It's the 1970s comic book and nostalgia poem. Here's a Bizarro World book. Let's see, what are we dealing with here? All right, it's more of these modern Bizarro comics. And I'll put it right with this Bizarro book. See, I had all these books scattered everywhere in the second floor, third floor, different bookshelves. Now I'm trying to get all these comic book related books together. This is a reprint of the first, what for many years was considered the most valuable comic in existence, Marvel Comics #1, with Bill Everett's The Submariner. And this reprints everything, the text pages, the ads, or does it reprint the ads? Don't get me lying. It doesn't look like it reprints the ads. Anyway, pretty amazing. We'll put that with Marvel. We'll put it there. Okay, now we've got some DC stuff. This is Legion of Superheroes Volume 10. It doesn't have a slipcover. I bought it at Half Price Books for virtually nothing. I think less than $10. It might have been like $8. So it didn't have the slipcover. It still looks kind of handsome. It might even look better actually on a bookshelf this way. I'll put it here. That's Volume 10. Here's Volume 9. This is also from the same Half Price bookstore, probably the same person. So this one's got kind of a little crease there. Again, no slipcover. I'm not planning to sell these, so if I could someday get one with a slipcover, great. But that's not going to happen. Come on. So I've got most of those Legion of Superheroes, like most of them, in the original comic book form because I loved this Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes comics. This one's Volume 8. They're written by an actual teenager who later went on to some fame in the comic, a lot of fame in the comic industry. Here's Legion Volume 6. This is what the covers look like. The earlier, the better as far as these things go. This is Legion number 5. Yeah, I got a lot of these adventure comics. They used to be pretty inexpensive to buy back in the 1980s when I was buying them up. DC bought Superman was brought to national periodical publications, now called DC, by two teenagers in the late 30s. And DC thought, oh, this is shit, and they threw it in a trash can. And Sheldon Meyer, the wonderful artist that, Sugar and Spike and everything wonderful, was one of my favorite artists. Three Mouseketeers, what else did he do? Just a lot of stuff. He looked in the trash can and pulled it out and said, hey, maybe we should give this a second chance. This really isn't too bad. So he's really the godfather that got Superman, actually published. So anyway, so Superman bought the rights to this character from these two teenagers. And, they kind of shut them out, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. And then years later, they got this multi-million-dollar movie coming out, written by Mario Puzo of the Godfather fame, and starring Marlon Brando and all this. And, people start printing articles about how the original creators of Superman are in poverty, and one is blind, and they're not getting money from DC. And DC went, oh, shit. So they started giving them credit in every Superman comic as the creators, and I think they gave them some money, probably pretty substantial, but not anywhere like what they deserved. But the family, after those two guys passed away, I think went after DC, and they said, okay, so you have Superman. Well, our lawyers say, yeah, you have that, but you never fully bought and paid for Superboy, which was Superman when he was a teenager. This is Teen Titans Volume 1. So they went to court and they got the rights to Superboy. Superman when he was a teenager in Smallville. And and then they also, in the 60s, under Mort Weisinger, they also had a Super Baby. He was actually wearing the Superman uniform costume when he was a baby. And so anyway, they got rights to those. So, according to the Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, he didn't even become Superman until he was an adult anyway. So they retconned all of those stories and all these Superboy going into the future and hanging out with the Legion of Superheroes in the 25th century. They just did away with that and then they put Supergirl going into the future. And when they did an animated series about 20 years ago on Saturday morning, they just made Superman. He was just a young Superman, just had started becoming Superman, but he wasn't Superboy. Now DC could still do a Superboy, but they couldn't make him the same Superboy. So now they've got a Superboy that wears a black t-shirt, who's a clone, who's half Superman, half Lex Luthor, something weird. So he has two daddies. Anyway, you think about it, okay, Teen Titans would go here. The weird thing about it, you would think when Superman appeared in Metropolis that people say, there's this little town in Kansas. There used to be a teenager that wore the same costume that used to fly around saving people. And before that, there was a baby that went around, doing all the same stuff. And that little town, high school graduating class is probably about 20-25 people. Maybe we could track down who that person is. Here's the Metal Men Volume 2. Anyway, it seems like they could. If you had real reporting, but how the mainstream media is. They don't do real reporting. Metal Men is a wonderful comic. Don't let anyone tell you that it isn't, because they're probably assholes. If anyone doesn't like the Metal Men, they are an asshole. Let's just face it. Okay, let's get some more books. Oh my gosh. Now these shelves are starting to fill up. Starting to look like a real library in here. Here's The Great Comic Book Heroes by Jules Feiffer. This is one of the first of this is the mid-60s. This is when, comic books, people started to notice comic books. And then, Hugh Hefner was showing the old Batman serials from the 40s at his parties, because he was always a comic nerd, you know. Those Alex Raymond, Flash Gordon Sunday comic strips with all the scantily clad women and bondage, you know, that's kind of what got him all hot and bothered enough to become the, the czar of titties and ass later with Playboy. But anyway, so he was showing these, and all these celebrities were there and laughing at and they was like, oh, this is great. And then, I said, well, maybe we should, one of the ABC executives said, maybe we should turn this into a TV show, because look at all these people, all these cool hipster people here at this Playboy Mansion party are laughing at it. So that's, and Andy Warhol's doing all this stuff with pop art and what's his fucking face, the guy that stole all the art and made it real big, the comic art guy, did the giant panels, with the big pixelated dots. It's not coming to me right now, but anyway, so they did a comedic version of Batman for ABC. This is one of the big first ones. I'm going to put it here, because I'm putting these books on comic book history kind of in order. Okay, here's a couple of books that reprint the Three Stooges. These old Three Stooges comics from the 60s, possibly 50s. 50s, yeah. Look at this one. He's putting together, Shemp is putting together the puzzle. Some of these have Shemp. That's good. It's good when they have Shemp. It's not good if they have Curly Joe. Curly Joe was, these all have Shemp, who's, most people say, Shemp versus Curly. Most people say Curly, but then there's those people that say Shemp is their favorite among those two, and those people are very interesting people that favor Shemp, I must say. All right. One of my favorite movies of all time is Ghost World, and I've been told by more than a few people that I'm like Sheldon in Ghost World. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but this reprints the 8-Ball stories. Okay. So here's a Playboy's Little Annie Fanny, and this is what Harvey Kurtzman and Will Elder did all through the late 60s and through the 70s, and I don't know when it stopped, but it's beautiful painted art. I think every page costs several $1,000s from what I understand. Every page is painted. It's parody of Little Orphan Annie, but where shall I put this? Let's put this stuff down here. Here's that was volume 2. Here's volume 1, and this is good stuff. I mean, it's not as good as the EC Mad and stuff, but it's all right. And then these books. This is the Best of Playboy, Volume 3. It was only $2.50 when it first came out. This has got Sardonicus, that became the movie Mr. Sardonicus, and it's got, interviews with Martin Luther King. This is the more, well, it's got nudity too, but it's also, got the architecture, the mid-century architecture, it's, because a lot of the, like the Ian Fleming, James Bond stories, they were in these, let's see, they got Norman Mailer, Shel Silverstein, all these, like I said, the interview, Ursula Andress, this is more, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so this is volume 3 and volume 5. I probably should have all of those, but I'm not sure. Do I? I don't know. Okay, let's get more books. I'm going and getting them out of the elevator here. I have the elevator shaft open. This is a bound set of Vampirella from September 69 to March 1971. I bought it from a friend of mine. You saw him a few weeks ago. You're a guest on the show. This is not something like I said, I did. This is something done by some fan at some point. So this is kind of frowned upon in the collecting world, but it has all this books. And here, and I guess they've been slightly trimmed, more than likely. But I'll put this up here with the Vampirella books, Vampirella Volume 1. And I think I showed you the Essential Warren years yesterday, didn't I? Or I might not have. That may have been found right after the camera shut off. I think I did show you this book, which is that's actually from the Warren years. Vampirella Crimson Chronicles, again, reprinting those early stories. I don't know. Did I show you all these? I think I showed you that one. Yeah. And I think I showed you this one as well with the Dave Stevens. Okay. And then here's March 71 to October 72, numbers 11 through 20. So I don't know what would a bound set be worth. There's no telling. Anyway, that's what this is. So, like I said, it's starting to look like a real library here. Okay, another, I love the Enemy Ace. It's a World War I, kind of like the Red Baron, German pilot. And he scares all the other German pilots. He's a loner. And that his only friend is this wolf that lives out in the forest. That's the only other living person entity that he can commune with. So, and he's got this cool. It's Joe Kubert art, and it's just this was the penultimate of to me of DC war stuff. Just great. And he's kind of like, he doesn't have superhero powers, but, he has villains that have costumes. And it's just that great World War I, where you shoot the other guy, you shot the other guy's going to go down and you salute them because you respect the person you just killed. It's kind of all that chivalry, in combat stuff that we've been told about. It's fun stuff. Enemy Ace, Captain Marvel would be before the Flash. Sure enough, now another one of my favorite comics is Doom Patrol. We were watching that TV show. I think we're a couple of seasons behind in it. That show is. This comic book is all you need. The original comic book was great. It was as good in the 60s as anything Marvel was doing. Then in the 80s, they did this art school Doom Patrol revival that is what the TV show's based on. And I remember in the 80s, my friend was telling me, I was telling him, you've got to buy these old Doom Patrol comics. He says, no, I like these new ones with the weird covers and everything. Here's Adam Strange Volume 1. I'm not knocking them, but they're not as good as the original stuff. There's nothing in the 80s as good as something from the 60s. This is Adam Strange for Mystery in Space, Volume 1. Would you put Adam Strange under A or under S? I'm putting him under A. Green Lantern, Volume 1, Silver Age, Green Lantern. That will go... Ooh, wait a minute. G... F, G, H, I, J. This damn Captain Marvel's confusing me with the stupid Shazam name because I want to keep him in the C's, even though. Okay, Black Hawk Volume 1. This is Golden Age stuff. So, fun stuff to read. Black Hawk, Black Canary, Blah. Be here. Okay. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. It's Mark Schultz's wonderful Wally-Wood EC inspired dinosaur world, where they even made a Saturday morning cartoon out of this that wasn't as good as this. But now there was one of these I found yesterday. Where did I put that? I need to put this with the other one. Oh boy, move this shit up. Oh, it was down here. It's called Dinosaur Shaman. Okay. Let me move this burlesque book over here. I'll put that near the Playboy books. That'll make sense. And then How I Photograph Nudes by Bunny Yeager. Bunny Yeager did a lot of photography of Betty Page, and those photos you see of Betty Page in Florida frolicking in the ocean and as a jungle girl were done by Bunny Yeager, who was a photographer, but she was also a pinup herself. So I'll put that down here with the that kind of stuff. And this down here as well. What do we have here? What is this stuff? Oh, a Charles Addams book. We were talking about the Addams Family yesterday. This is a great book. It's called Dear Dead Days. It's very worth seeking out. It's not a collection of his art. It's a collection of things that influenced him. Weird freaks and medical curiosities and old photographs. This is the real Charles Addams was very much like Gomez Addams as far as his taste in women, his taste in architecture, his taste in everything. He's into all this dark stuff, you know, just pictures of dead bodies and stuff. This is, if you're like one of those Addams Family type people like me, this goes right here next to the Addams Chronicles that I showed you yesterday, and then this book, which I found right after the camera shut off yesterday, the Addams Chronicles. This goes through every episode of the 2-season ABC series. Yeah, they were ABC, and the Munsters was on CBS. This is another Charles Addams book, Drawn and Quartered. It's the return of a classic, here reissued after 20 years out of print. It's Charles Addams Cartoon Collection number 1, 115 memorable, trimmerable early masterpieces, which include Congratulations, It's a Baby. Okay, anyway, it's all a collection of his single panel. I wonder which is the very first one that shows the Addams Family. Could be that one. That might be the very first Addams Family. And see, Lurch, I don't know if that's supposed to be Lurch or Gomez with a beard. You know, it was really based on a movie called The Old Dark House. And I think Karloff had the big beard. I think Lurch is based on Karloff. These are other books you can get in the series. I mean, they're also in paperback editions, but they're much better in these big editions if you can find them. And now with eBay, you probably can. I was buying these before eBay because I've been into this stuff for a long time. Here's a Munsters book that came out. It has a foreword by Yvonne DiCarlo. And, okay, so we'll put the Munsters next to the Addams Family. Yikes! No, you're not going to do that, motherfucker. Excuse me, mother, father. This is Bat Manga. It's Chip Kidd put this out. It's collections of the Japanese did their own Batman comic. They didn't just reprint the American comic and translate it. They did their own uniquely Japanese version. So this is a big collection of it. And there's some other collections of this stuff too. Now, I had a Batman section. Yes. Batman section is right here. put this next to Batman the Animated Series. Here. Whoa. The greatest Superman stories ever told. Yeah, so. Yeah, I got a couple of new subscribers. I'm like real close to 460, I think. Or is it? I get confused. But I'm, you know, if I could get up to 500, I'd be really happy. If you feel free to tell people about this channel. You know, if you think you know people that are be interested in my kind of collecting, let them know. If I could get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, then I could monetize it. That would be fun. Oh well. Here's a Kirby, King of Comics. This is a fancy book. I had another book on Kirby right here, so it goes there. The History of Underground Comics. This is an early, I mean, I think I got this probably around 79, 1980, more than likely. So this will go down here with the underground Robert Crumb stuff. And yeah. It'll look good next to this book that I think I showed you yesterday. This has got two covers. The Best of Bijou Funnies and The Apex Treasury of Underground Comics. It's two books in one. Here's another early book, the Pow Wham Zap comic book trivia quiz book. It's just a cheap ass. It's got some covers in it, but it's yeah, one of those things. Not too impressive. Where should I put this freaking thing? I'll put it here. Oh, more Craig Yale books. Here's Eerie Publications, the complete covers that I got from in Mesa, Arizona, Gotham City Comics. There's their little sticker there. I gotta put this guy somewhere. Okay. This is another book, The Weird Indexes of Eerie Publications. So this is just, you got to really be into Eerie Publications. It just shows, you know, everything that appears in each issue and stuff that was reprinted. And this thing came out in, I would say, about 12 to 15 years ago. This was the first time this stuff was really rediscovered in this big book. Yeah, The Weird World of Eerie Publications. I even got a t-shirt from that book. Okay, that's from Feral House. That's not from Craig Yale. Feral House is a company that puts out kind of stuff that's more supernatural, conspiracy, just plain demonic, serial killer shit. You know, there's Horror by Heck. There's old Heck. Give him Heck. So he's going to reprint all kinds of stuff. So I'll put this with my Craig Yale collection. Craig Yale also did the worst of Eerie Publications. So this is, if you've never seen inside one of these books, this is the charming stuff you will find inside. So let's put that there. Oh, another Batman book. Batman, The Complete History. This book was everywhere. They had so many copies. It's a beautiful book, but they just had so many copies of this printed they couldn't sell them all. It seemed like you could get them for real cheap there at the end. So yes, I might try to see if I can fit it in there. There's several in this series, yes. Here's the Wonder Woman one. This great Alex Ross cover. I don't know why it's got this damn line going across it, because I never would have bought a copy of this book with this line going. That could have happened in the move. I take no responsibility, but. Oh, and there's another one. And they did one of Superman. Will this one fit on the shelf as well? Yes, it will. And now that top shelf is pretty much done. No. This is a Craig Yo book, and I want to put it on the Craig Yo shelf. This is the one I showed you yesterday that collects comics based on Alice in Wonderland. There's a lot of Craig Yo books, and I wish I had more of them. Okay, so it looks like, have I exhausted all the books in the elevator? Just about, so I need to go downstairs. Yeah, so I will return. Okay, be right back. All right. I looked out the window. It's still not snowing. I'll let you know. If it starts snowing, I'll take you out. They say on Friday, there's a 90% chance of snow Friday. And they say the temperatures and the wind are going to be such that if you spend 10 minutes out there, you'll get frostbite. And the camera probably won't work outside very long either. Captain Midnight, Volume 1, reprinted by Dark Horse. Yes, I'll be going on a diet soon. I know I'm out of breath and shouldn't be. Okay. I'll put this next to Ghost World. Okay, here's the history of the Comics Code. Seal of Approval. By Amy Kirsty Nyberg. Study of the history of comic book censorship. Well, this really should be next to Seduction of the Innocent. I'll bring that in here and put that next to it. Marvel's first World War II superheroes. So this is an amazing book. We'll put this next to this collection of All Winners. And there's a vintage book, Babysitter's Guide to by Dennis the Menace. Oh, look at that. This is to certify that Dennis the Menace has approved this book. Put that there. All right, here we've got Comic Book Archives of Flash Gordon. Now, this is an Alex Raymond stuff. This is the reprints of the Gold Key comics that were wonderfully done. And yeah, more than wonderfully done. Look at this. That's Al Williamson art. So, yeah. Flash Gordon was so influential. I mean, the whole comic book industry, all the great artists, Kirby, all the original artists were influenced by Al Williamson. I'm sorry, by Alex Raymond. Al Williamson would have been one of the ones influenced by Alex Raymond. And Alex Raymond, yeah, he was the guy. This is volume 4. So, this is volume 3. These were real cheap, as I recall, at half-price books. So it's put that here. So, you know, anything involving Flash Gordon, artists treated it with respect because it was like that was something they revered. So even when they were making the dirty parody of Flash Gordon called Flesh Gordon in the early 70s, the artists, the special effects technicians, you know, yeah, it was just a cheap, basically borderline porno movie. But the animators and everyone working behind the scenes on the movie treated it like they were making a real Flash Gordon movie, and they gave it that respect. So therefore, the monsters and everything in that movie are tremendous, and spaceships and everything. This is a reprinting Thunda, King of the Congo, and there was you know, in this Frazetta art, not all of it's Frazetta art in here, but this is from Dark Horse Comics, reprinting those. Here's Catwoman celebrating 75 years. And this is great. It reprints Catwoman stories from all around. Let's put that down here with the Batman books. And I, for some reason, have this Doctor Strange book on the Batman shelf. And this is reprinting the 70s Doctor Strange stuff. I think that should go down here. Yeah. Sure enough. James Van Hise presents Edgar Rice Burroughs' Fantastic Worlds. Now that's a Richard Corbin painting. So it's just a great, if you're into John Carter and Tarzan, this is a great book to get. I don't remember when it came out. Here's a great Reed Crandall illustration. Look at that. If you've read The Princess of Mars, you'll know the scene that's from. Okay, so I'll put that here with the Tarzan stuff. Oh, maybe I'll just make that a pulp shelf, because here's Pulp Masters. Speaking of pulps, I was talking to Charlton66 yesterday. Had a great conversation with him. He's just getting over COVID, but he sounds better than me. He's coughing less than me, and I don't think I had COVID. I just had a cough and a lot of mucus for a couple of months. But so he'll be back on the Four Color Fossils show on Wednesday, and apparently tomorrow he's sending me a AOK or Christmas present. I don't know what it's going to be. And then he's also going to send me, because he doesn't have room in his comic room anymore, like a really cool 1950s radio, because I collect those. So that's really neat to have friends like that out there in the world. This is the first of this is the big book of the Subgenius. I don't know where I would put that. It's not really, it's sort of comic book related, because comic book nerds are the ones that are in the main audience of this fake cult. I would put it, I'm going to put it here next to the Eerie Publications. Oh, this has a lot of, I have a lot of reverence for this. Marvel Masterworks finally reprinted Not Brand Echh, one of my favorite comics of all time. One of my favorite artists of all time is Marie Severin. You know, If you don't know this comic, you gotta. It's amazing. Okay, so put this here. Oh, this is great. Michael Fleischer, an encyclopedia of comic book heroes. He did one about Wonder Woman also. I don't think I have that one. It just every character that ever appeared in Batman comics up through the 70s, and it's very goes into great depth, psychological depth. Like, why is Batman attracted to Catwoman, who is a criminal? And he goes into this Freudian shit, a little kid that loses their parents, even though your mother didn't leave you on purpose. You weren't abandoned by your mother. She was shot dead by a dastardly criminal, right? But they say psychologically, a little kid resents the mother still for leaving him. And so they have this attraction to bad women because the mother becomes bad for having left them, or something like that. He goes into this stuff. He goes into great detail. Michael Fleischer is the same guy that wrote Jonah Hex, and he could get kind of dark and great. Anyway, I love this book. But it goes here on the Batman shelf, right here next to all the other Batman stuff. All right. Famous Monsters Chronicles. This is all about one of my favorite magazines of all time, Famous Monsters. Shows every issue. Let's see. Let's move Rivals of H.G. Wells onto this pulp shelf right here. And that'll give me room to put more of this horror-related. Put this next to Lawn of a Thousand Faces. And Forrest J. Ackerman, Famous Monster of Filmland. That'll go next to that. Now, still have several shelves to fill, so let me head on down again, and I will come back up and show you more amazing books. I didn't go downstairs. I remember there's still some books in the comic book room I haven't brought in here. Let's look at these. There's going to be more of these DC archive editions. Now, early on in these archive editions, it was kind of controversial in that they were redrawing the art. They were they got like people somewhere in the third world to trace the art. And they were guilty of that in the early 70s with those 100-page giants sometimes too. But this doesn't look retraced. Later on, they developed the technology to do these better. This is Wonder Woman Volume 4. Wonder Woman Volume 3. These early Wonder Womans are tremendous. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not reading more of this shit. Wonder Woman Volume 2. I mean, I watch so much YouTube trying to figure out what's going on in the world. This yesterday and this morning, we finished up a movie that my wife had been wanting to see called Don't Worry, Darling. It's kind of a Stepford Wives kind of science fiction thing, but it's some new movie with that new Captain Kirk. The head of this, well, you can see it. It's kind of I'm not recommending it necessarily, but we watched Green Lantern Volume 5. I think I had another Green Lantern, that was Volume 1. All right. I'm trying to remember what the Dark Knight Archives Volume 6, I think. Okay. I guess I don't know why they call it Dark Knight. I think when they reprinted Detective, maybe they called those Batman, and then so this is reprinting. I don't know. They have some stupid reason. Okay, so this is Batman, so it goes here after Adam Strange. Oh, another Enemy Ace. Enemy Ace Volume 2. All right. Let's have 2 volumes of Enemy Ace. Here's Dark Knight, Volume 8. Oh, there's that Batman comic where he tips over the Christmas tree. Everybody's showing that on their shows lately. I thought, well, I'll never be able to afford that comic. How am I ever going to read? I guess I own it here. You know, at least I could read it in this fake format, right? Dark Knight Volume 8. I have 6 and 8. Okay, here's Batman Archives Volume 1. Yes, as I suspected, when they call it Batman, it's reprinting Detective. Okay, all right. Oh, cool. This is not hardcover, it's soft cover, but it's reprinting the Gold Key Dr. Solar. And it's color, too. That goes here. Okay. Here's Will Eisner's Spirit Archives, Volume 7. I should have more of these, but I don't. But, you know, what can I say? Why did I put that over there? Hold on a second. I'm just realizing I could have been making a mistake here. Let's move this stuff over. I'm going to move this Batman stuff over here. Because I just realized, okay, and the Wonder Woman will move down here. Really disappointed that it hasn't started snowing yet, because I was looking forward to that, man. Teen Titans would go after Superman. Justice League, okay, Metal Men goes here. And then these Legion, wait, yeah. I was filing these as S, or what was I? I'll just file them as Legion. Make it less confusing. I'll bring the Legion books over here. So you have all the DC archives together, because I had some DC archive books over here. All right. And then I have All-Star Comics Volume 11. So that needs to go after Adam Strange. Okay. Let's get more books. Be right back. Blah, blah, blah. Captain Strangelove has a new episode up. I watched a little bit of it. I need to get back and watch the rest of it as soon as I'm done with this. It's a Christmas episode. Here's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 1. Put that down here. They came from the 50s, volume... Is it a volume? No, it doesn't have a volume. It's Pre-Code Horror, reprinted black and white. We'll put that here. Oh, this thing about horror movie collectibles that I showed you, why don't I put that up here next to these famous monsters, books about famous monsters? That would make more sense. Cut the Unseen Cinema. This is stuff that was cut out of famous movies. Put it down here. Don't know why I own this. I like the ghost character, but I never was cared for this Batgirl that looks like Kanye West, you know, with the Balenciaga bondage stuff. But this looks like, this is new shit that, and by new it's probably decades old. This is another thing I thought was shit when it came out. I thought it was a ripoff. You know, look at Superman bleeding that black blood. I got this collected edition later because I just wanted to see what the fuss was about, and you know, it was a big ploy to get people to come back to comic stores, and all these people bought up all these copies thinking they would be able to put their kids through college with it. But yeah, that was the thing back in the old days. Characters bled black blood because for some reason the comics code didn't mind if the blood was black. So when people were cut up or shot in Jonah Hex or Scalp Hunter or in Conan the Barbarian, it was always black blood that came out of them. Oh well, let's put this with the Superman stuff, I guess. This is Italian. Yeah, I assume it's called Supermarket. It's black and white horror comics, kind of dirty Warren style. Except this is a little bit more extreme than Warren. Where would I put this? Let's put it next to the Three Stooges, and they came from the 50s. Here's another one of those. Terror. It's an Italian comic with Cleopatra, I guess there. And their war comics are equally saucy, I suppose. Yes, Antonio e Cleopatra. Yeah, artwork's all, it's just dirty, violent stuff. Dirty and violent. Holy shit, the world's weirdest comic books. This was a gift from Charlton 66. Now, there's a comic. Why don't I own this? Was this a... What? When did this come out? Look at that, man. The Purple People Eater. That's fantastic. Put that there. Here's The Life of Robert E. Howard, the creator of Conan. Dark Valley Destiny. I'll put that here next to the pulp books. Okay, Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, Archives, Volume 1. So when they call it Man of Tomorrow, it's reprinting Action Comics. So Superman... goes here. Look at these Bizarro World books over here. Yes, indeed. Okay. Wonder Woman Volume 7. Reprinting, I guess it reprints Sensation and Wonder Woman in order. So it looks like this reprints Sensation 49 through 57 and Wonder Woman 16 through 18. It's volume 7. All right. these are, this was somewhat tame but dirty cartoons. This magazine called Oversexed Teen. I think it was the same people. Was it the same people that put out From Sex to Sexty? I don't know. This is volume 3. It's like I bought it for $1. It's from 1956. It looks like. Yeah, they're like the type little jokes and comic books. I'm sorry, comic panels that you'd see in Playboy. Oversexed Teen. Here's another Oversexed Teen book. They're just jokes like that. If you find jokes like this funny, this is what you need to seek out. Oversexed Teen. Okay, All-Star Comics, Volume 9. This good friend of mine, back, man, I guess it was the 80s. His older brother had a complete collection of the entire run of All-Star Comics, right? In perfect, like, pretty much 9.8 or 10.0, you know, for those of you into that kind of grading. They were perfect All-Star Comics, the whole run. And they were moving, and something happened where someone got distracted, and someone grabbed a box out of the car right in front of the house, and it was all the All-Star Comics, and it was like, oh shit! So they went to Lone Star Comics. Buddy Saunders was the owner of that place. It's now called MyComicShop.com. It was the local comic shop in Arlington, Texas. MyComicShop.com is still in Arlington, Texas. It's a huge, gigantic warehouse, bigger than a football field or more, of comics. That's one of the major online dealers now. Brick and mortar business they sold off. So they went there and notified Buddy Saunders, the owner, that some deadbeat is probably going to come in soon and selling all these ridiculously pristine All-Star Comics. So as soon as they came there, it's like, oh, here they are, and they got the police there, and his comics were recovered when they now are all slabbed and in a vault somewhere, probably underground, underneath a mountain. But, so, that's a little story that I remember about All-Star Comics. That's volume 8, by the way. All-Star Comics Volume 1. I still have not found my copy of the first 1970s issue of All-Star Comics where Power Girl first appears. But that was lost before the move, and it has got to be among my shit somewhere because no one was in the house stealing that one issue. It's got to be here somewhere, but Plastic Man Volume 3, I have, darndest if I know where. This is Plastic Man, who was not really a DC hero, but DC bought the rights to this character later. It's put up by Quality, I believe, Comics. Okay, Plastic Man. So let's move some more stuff over. Okay, Plastic Man would be after Metal Men. Yeah, this is another one of the artists that I really like. Jack Cole. And this is Plastic Man Volume 2. He's another guy that later was picked up by Hugh Hefner at Playboy, because Hugh Hefner had an eye for comic book art, because he was a comic book person or comic art person, and he hired Will Elder. You got Kurtzman there and Cole and Vaughn, but they were secure for the rest of their lives. They had a stable income. They didn't have to worry, but I think their careers might have been more interesting if they were more hungry and not just producing Playboy-oriented stuff. Plastic Man Volume 1. Ooh, World's Finest Volume 3. Be after Wonder Woman. There's an Avengers book. I need to move. What the frick is this? Oh, it's I don't know. This is modern stuff. The art looks actually somewhat pretty good in this. Actually, you know, maybe this is before Marvel got shitty. So, I don't know. I haven't read this one yet. It's something I got real cheap. World's Finest Volume 2. Well, we're starting to fill these shelves up. Grab some more books. Ouch, motherfucker. Well, it looks like it's starting to snow out there. It's not really spectacular yet. Oh, God damn it. Excuse me, I didn't mean to use foul language, ladies and gentlemen. Close the door on my elbow. How about that? Greatest Batman stories ever told. Volume 2. We'll go with the Batman bullshit. Let's see. There you go. All-Star Superman, Volume 1. This was pretty good stuff. Put that over here with this shit. Okay. Superman in the 40s. Christmas. Superman in the 40s, followed by Superman in the 50s. And after that, Superman in the 60s. Batman in the 50s. Let's put that there. Here's Heroic. Who put this out? Fantagraphics, a collection of Bill Everett's art. Man, this guy was fantastic. I must really salute Marvel for bringing Bill Everett back in the early 70s and letting him do the Submariner in his very literally last days. That was really a wonderful thing. Superman, The Amazing Transformations of Jimmy Olsen. We'll put that with the Superman stuff. And still more Superman. Superman Past and Future. It's starting to snow. Did I just tell you that? It's starting to snow outside. But maybe I'll take you out there and show it to you here in a minute. Oh, this is the autobiography of Bob Kane that I was telling you that. It's another thing that was put out to cash in on the 1989 Batmania when the Tim Burton movie came out. Okay, so what am I needing here? Oh, let's go in the other room and grab any comic book related stuff from that bookcase. And we'll accumulate it all in that room. And I have that Charlton Companion in here too. Okay, so pull these books. What else? Where's Seduction of the Innocent? Oh, here it is. The Great Pulp Heroes. All right, pull these two books. Many Lives of the Batman. This will give me an and I can put the Susan Atkins autobiography in here. All right, let's get that Charlton book as well. Oh man, here it is. So, how have you guys been doing? You've been doing great? Fantastic. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. Let's get this book too. Oh, no, there's another book. All right. Well, usually right when I get to about an hour and 29 minutes, the phone's been shutting off because that's about the most memory I've got on this phone right now, because I've got probably hundreds of thousands of photographs saved on it that I need to get off of the phone. They're in the cloud, and so I've got to go to get them off the cloud, and then I have to unzip them. And I swear that used to be free on computers to unzip files, but now apparently you have to pay money to unzip files. And I don't have the money to be buying shit like that. All right. Basil Wolverton in Space. You've seen this one before. That goes there. Okay. The comic book is one of the early books about comic book history. We'll put that there. Weird Vampire Tales. These are pulp stories. We'll put that next to Rivals of H.G. Wells. The Charlton Companion. That should go up here next to Alter Ego. And that's going to be the next book I read. The Many Lives of the Batman. That'll go with the Batman crap, I suppose. Right here. Seduction of the Innocent goes here. The Great Pulp Heroes goes here. All in Color for a Dime goes next to Seduction of the Innocent. The New Comics goes here. I have a lot more books that I need to get put in here. Oh, here's some more comic book related books. Oh, we'll move some of these over. Let's see. Baby Boomer Comics. Oh, there's an Uncle Scrooge book. There's a bunch of stuff here, man. Oh, and this is this is one of the best books ever. I'll show you this one. Yeah, look at this. You got to get this book, Mail Order Mysteries by Kirk Damaris. It explains what all these ads, it shows you the real thing that you would get, you know, like that's the ghost that you would have gotten from that ad. I'll show this book to you sometime in detail. This is one of the great things. I'll put it right, where should it go? Where should it go? It deserves a place of honor. I think I'm going to bring these Star Trek books down. Where did I have the Flash? Oh, Flash Gordon's over there. Oh, I got a bunch of early 70s Flash Gordon reprints. Those are the ones that I should be showing you now. Okay. I got a lot of cool books to show you next time if you come back to the next edition. Okay, so I'll put Mail Order Mysteries up here. The Comic Book Reader's Companion. Uncle Scrooge, The Many Faces of Magica Dispel. Wonderful stuff. I'll put that here. Baby Boomer Comics. Put that there. I'd take the phone down to the main room and pull some more books, but my wife's on the phone with a friend down there, and that'll be kind of weird to go in there and because it's a private phone call. I would just barge in on her. It wouldn't be right. Hold on. Let's see if there's any more I can dig up. What a pain in the butt. No, I'm not going to move that. Oof. There's another Catwoman book. Put that with the other Catwoman book here. The Nearly Complete Essential Himbeck Archives Omnibus. So that's a lot of, this is like the New York City phone book or something. I'll tell you what. Let me get this is kind of neat. The Superman radio show, Batman and Robin, appeared on the Superman show. So this is probably really the first appearance of Batman outside of the comic book. Because I think that's prior to the movie serial, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's starting to look kind of like a library here. Show you what it looks like now. So this is what we've accomplished over the last couple of episodes. So this is about 3 hours of work in addition to so the archives, in addition to all the other. Now, professional librarians say that you should books should always be right up to the edge. That they should really be right exactly there. That's how in a library you're supposed to do it. But I like to have a little bit of a space here because I can put little action figures there and stuff. But see, this bookshelf has no wall behind it. Behind it, it has stairs that go up to this real high closet that I'm starting to put magazine boxes in it. So that's the. So this is the room, ladies and gentlemen. How about this? And I've moved several of these bookshelves out of the comic book room, so now I'm going to move a lot of these boxes into the comic book room and get them organized against this wall in here. So right now it's very chaotic in here, as you can see. This is where this is the next project, is get all this stuff up off the floor. Then I can open it up where the dog and possibly the cats can get in here. But right now, things are a bit of a mess, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there's another book on pulps over here. I need to grab that. Oh, and there's more. Oh, there's more books here. Oh, they're crisis books. Not about personal, about DC Justice League Crisis on multiple Earths kind of thing. Every summer, the Justice League and the Justice Society would team up because there'd be some crisis that would cause the heroes of different Earths to have to unite. That was until Crisis on Infinite Earths messed all that up. In my opinion, I don't know, because I like the old ways. I'm starting to become the resident curmudgeon on the Four Color Fossils television program on YouTube on Wednesday nights on Graphic Man's channel, because I just don't like, well, a lot of the guys don't like anything new, but I'm especially bad when it comes to not liking anything new. Okay. I've got books out from the last time I did that show. Okay, look at these books in there too. Since we're getting bonus time, the phone's letting me record longer today. I wonder how long it will go. So I might as well shelve a few more books. Turn off the lights because global warming is an existential threat to our democracy. But since we don't live in a democracy, I'll start listening when they say that global warming is an existential threat to our republic. When they say that, then maybe my ears will perk up and I'll believe them, because they're already lying and saying that we live in a democracy. So why would I trust them about the global warming part? Yeah. You know how it is, man.